Hey everyone, so we're going to do a very quick Valentine's Day themed video. Today we're going to take my top 10 authors and we're going to pick their top couples and we're going to rank them. So here are the rules. I got my notes. The rules are just my top 10 authors. If there's an author that you really like that's not on here, I've either not read it or it's not my top 10 author. Sorry about that. Just one author per couple, or one couple per author, which means that I have some honorable mentions because obviously some of my favorite authors have more than one couple. And number 3, this is ranking by couple, not by author. So my favorite author is not the top because it's ranking the couples of the authors. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I'm sorry it's so complicated. Let's go ahead and get started with some honorable mentions. So the first, here, I have the books all here. The first honorable mention is Leslie and Owen from Anne's House of Dreams. So this is Ella Montgomery, the Anne of Green Gables series. And Leslie and Owen are a really cute couple. They have a wacky origin story and it's just very, very romantic, and Leslie is really the co-heroine of this book, so it's a really, really good story. It is my honorable mention just because it's slightly less realistic than the one I actually picked for Ella Montgomery. Next, Brian Jacques is one of my favorite authors. He's one of my oldest authors that I've ever read. And in Mariel of Redwall, there starts to be kind of a thing between Mariel and Dandon, but it's not really a romance until the sequel, which is The Bellmaker. So this one is an honorable mention because it's not really a romance in the first book, only in the second. And I just wanted to mention it because I think the friends to lovers trope is a little bit underrated. So I absolutely adore how they're not really romantic until the very end in this book. And it's not really even talked about. It's just kind of understood. Next, this is for my friend Stephanie. Her favorite in The Lord of the Rings for romance is Éowyn and Faramir, which I didn't put on this list, but I had to mention it. So here's my honorable mention for you, Stephanie, Arwen, and Éowyn. Or Éowyn, I'm sorry, Éowyn and Faramir. Goodness. All right. I didn't know what to hold up for this one because this is a movie thing instead of a book thing, which is why it's an honorable mention. I still ship Neville and Luna in Harry Potter. So it's kind of in the book, but obviously it's not canon. Luna ends up with Scamander, I forget his name. And then Neville ends up with Hannah Abbott, I believe. I don't agree. I'm sorry, J.K. Rowling. I believe that Neville and Luna were made for each other. So I'm holding up this book because this is where I wish it happened. So this is the only one that's like kind of not in the book, but it's in the movie. So, all right, this one I'm gonna get crucified for. Honorable mention: Elizabeth and Darcy. I know. This is only because I could only choose one per author. Obviously, I should rank all of the love interests in all of Jane Austen's books. I apologize to everyone who loves Jane Austen. But no, they're not my favorite couple. They're my second favorite couple. And the last one, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. If you know, you know. My second favorite Wheel of Time couple is Min and her love interest. Not going to say who it is, but Min is my favorite of the 3. Okay, so I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to spoil my brother. All right, so those are my honorable mentions. Let's go on to my real picks. All right, now my bookshelf's looking a little weird with its little holes, but now we're gonna get into the real meat of this video. Let's go ahead and do my favorite authors and ranking by their romance or their couples. So here we go. All right, number 10, the worst couple writer of my favorite authors is my favorite author. Michael Crichton doesn't really write romance. There's not really any romantic couples in his books. Jurassic Park is the closest we get. It's like a weird, awkward relationship that we can't really tell as a couple. So he is ranked at the bottom. He's my favorite author, but he has the worst romance. All right, number 9 is someone who also doesn't really write romance, is C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis doesn't really write romance, at least in the books that I've written. I feel like he has a nonfiction about love, but it's more about like love with God, or I think it's the 5 types of love. Anyway, so this series is more for children. His space series does not have romance really. Well, not really. So this series only has really one couple maybe, and that is Caspian and Liliandril. I can't even say it. It's Ramandu's daughter, and it doesn't end well. So yeah, I ranked it at the bottom because there is a couple, which is better than Crichton, but it is not a lot. And it's also like love at first sight without a lot of development. So that's also a mark against him. All right, Terry Pratchett. I wanted to hold up Men-at-Arms because that's a funner cover, but I haven't read it, so I don't think I should do it. Okay, so people are gonna get really mad at me if you like Discworld, but this is only because I haven't read a lot of Discworld, okay? So Vimes and Lady Sybil, Captain Vimes and Lady Sybil, are the love couple in Guards, and I have only just met them, and they've only just gotten together in Guards, and I have not read any more, so don't crucify me if this should be higher. I just don't know them very well yet. So maybe this will climb as soon as I get to my next book, which is Men-at-Arms. So this is probably going to change. This is probably going to go higher. All right, next is Harry and Ginny from Harry Potter. This might be surprising to you if you've only watched the movies. If you actually read the books, Jenny actually has a personality. So she is my favorite of the girls. She is snarky, she is funny, she hangs around with Fred and George, she's brave, and she finally gets Harry after loving him from the beginning, and Harry finally loves her. And it's very adorable, and I love it. Only in the book. In the movie, it sucks, but everyone knows that. So that's my favorite here. For people who like Harry and Hermione, I really disagree with you. I'm sorry. They are very brother-sister vibes. Yeah, I love Harry and Ginny. And then we have Brandon Sanderson. Again, I might get crucified, but I have not read a lot of Brandon Sanderson, so sorry for my brother, who would rank this way higher. Min and Elend, I hope I say that right. I'm sorry if I don't. Their meeting and falling for each other is absolutely adorable in the first book. This is The First Empire, is I think the real name. It's not supposed to be called Mistborn. That's like the trilogy name. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not a Brandon Sanderson fan. I'm just a newbie. Yeah. So in the first book, then they're very cute and they fall for each other, and it's very, very adorable, and I love it. But the second book, they start to get a little annoying. Sometimes they're cute and sometimes they're annoying. So that's why I ranked it this low. And I haven't read the third one yet, sorry. So don't come at me, Brandon people. Sanderson people. I'm sorry. I'll read more, I promise. All right. Next, we're gonna go to the top 5, and I'm just gonna pause and put these back and then grab my top 5 so that my bookshelf doesn't look too sad. All right. Sorry if my camera angle is slightly different. I didn't want to have huge gaps in my bookshelves, so I did like 655. So now my gaps in my bookshelf are different. So if you want to look at the gaps and decide who my favorite 5 are, you could do that, which would be crazy. So let's go ahead with my top 5 couples of my top 10 favorite authors. This is hard to say. All right, number 5 is Robert Jordan. Now, you might be saying, I don't know, does he write good couples? He did write one. It's Lan and Naive, obviously. The favorite quote I put in to my Eye of the World video that's coming out next week. They're absolutely adorable. Some people think it's kind of sudden, but I don't think so. It's just so cute. It goes through all the phases. So if you like the heroically we can't be together kind of phase, they have that. If they have all the other phases that I won't say to not spoil people in Wheel of Time. Yes, Nynaeve and Lan in starting the first book and continuing on for an undisclosed amount of books in the Wheel of Time. All right, number 4 is an author who does kids books but actually has romance, unlike C.S. Lewis. Is the Redwall series. The book is Mossflower, and it is Gomph and Columbine. They're so adorable, oh my goodness. Obviously their romance is kind of simplified to be for kids, but it is so cute. Columbine goes from a cute little girl who doesn't really know anything and gets like taken, like she gets tricked by Gomph and stuff, and then she kind of grows up to be kind of like on par with him, and they get married, and it's so cute, oh my goodness. And then Dandon, who I mentioned in Marielle, is their great-grandchild or just grandchild. I'm not sure which, I can't remember. But he's descended from Gomph and Columbine. So that's super cool and adorable. So it's kind of funny that 2 of my couples on these lists are like actually related somehow. So yeah, it's a very, very cute story, and I love it. And also, even though they're not always together in this book, you still care about their relationship, which I think is very masterful writing. Underrated author, Brian Jakes. All right, next is a little bit of a cheat. Arwen and Aragorn, and what is his name? Beren and Luthien, and Tolkien and his wife, because they're kind of the same. I don't know if you know the background, but basically Beren and Luthien is a elven princess. I hope I explained this right. And Beren wants her hand, and then her father says no, and then he has to go get the Silmarils. I think that's the story. I'm sorry if I get this wrong. I'm not a Tolkien expert. I just know some things. And then Aragorn and Arwen's story is in The Lord of the Rings. It's more in the appendices, but the movie kind of draws it out. But they're all mirrors of each other, as well as Tolkien with his wife, and some of the scenes with Beren and Luthien are with like scenes from Tolkien's actual experience with his wife. So it's adorable. It's the cutest thing ever. If you want to know more, it's in the making of the Lord of the Rings extended edition. It's the most adorable thing ever. Yes, I have read it, so this is not cheating, but it's the cutest thing ever. So that's why it's ranked so high, but I'm kind of cheating, so I didn't want to put it as number 1. All right, next, don't gasp, is Jane Austen. Persuasion, the couple is Captain Wentworth and Anne from Persuasion. I put them higher than Elizabeth and Darcy, mostly because they actually do have a backstory. They actually do have a history. It's the most adorable thing ever, and the letter at the end, if you know, you know, is so cute and I love it. So this is one of my favorite books. I think Pride and Prejudice might be slightly higher, mostly for the side characters. I care more about the side characters in Pride and Prejudice than this one. But for the main characters, I think I would pick Persuasion. So overall, I think Pride and Prejudice kind of wins out because it's very, very close. So anyway, the couples are what we're talking about, and I think the couple for Persuasion minutely edges out Elizabeth and Darcy. All right, and my favorite couple in all of my favorite authors ever is, spoilers, sorry, Anne and Gilbert from Anne of Green Gables and all of the books. If you don't know, Anne of Green Gables is just a story of an orphan being adopted and having to learn how to live in a normal society. And not the first day of school, second day of school? Early in her schooling, suddenly a new boy comes, except he's not new, he's just returning from vacation, and it ends with Anne cracking a slate on his head and him falling madly in love. It's the cutest thing ever. So like I said in the honorable mentions, this is a little bit more of a realistic story. They don't fall in love right away. He kind of has a puppy love when he's younger. They kind of go their separate ways for a while, and then they come back to each other and they realize they were kind of always meant for each other. It's so cute. And then not only do we get them falling in love, but unlike a lot of authors, you actually get their future lives. So their married lives, they're having kids together, they're raising kids, their problems with marriage later in marriage. It's so in-depth and so beautiful, and I love it so much. And they go through good times and bad times, they go through horrible tragedies, they go through tremendous successes, and it's just like, how can I pick someone else when this is the only couple that's like realistic? You see their beginning, middle, and end. Well, not really their end, but like you see almost all of their marriage. You know what I mean? So it's just the only thing you don't see is like their retirement years. But like you see them from, I think she's 11 when they meet, to when their kids are getting married. So their kids are in their 20s. So she's probably in her 40s, 50s. So like you see like almost 40 years of their relationship. And so how can I really pick these other ones when you don't really see that much? The closest is Landed Nynaeve, but like that's not even that much. So, or not even close really. So yeah, I had to pick Anne and Gilbert. They're adorable. Please read the later books. If you have not, they're the best. I like this first one, obviously, but it's not my favorite. The first book is not my favorite. Please read more if you haven't, okay? My favorite book is actually the last one. So that is my top 10 authors, couples ranked. Hopefully that's not too confusing. I had so much fun making this video. Go ahead and click on the next video somewhere and subscribe and give me a like if you like this video, and I really, really had fun. I hope y'all will join me next time.